Hello there, I'm Kerry. If you've heard of Nordstrand Audio, you probably already know I've been designing and making bass guitars, pickups, and other fun musical things for more than 20 years now. Well, keeping a small company alive is a stressful endeavor, and eventually it caught up with me when I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue in 2020. A profoundly challenging and traumatic treatment during a global pandemic offered me an opportunity for real change. Suddenly, I became obsessed with really sorting out why I do what I do every day. It's recently become apparent the most effective way to achieve some clarity in this regard is through the pursuit of unconditional curiosity. What is unconditional curiosity? Well, let's ask my most favorite question, what wants to happen, and find out together. Hey, good morning. I wanted to show you my little tea corner here where I do all of my organic tea making, regenerative. So I have a bucket here with a bunch of aerator stones running by this little pump. I've got to distribute, so there's actually 3 of them in there right now. And then I put my compost in these little mesh bags. And the compost comes from this little filthy little monster down here. This is my wrinkled composter, and you can open it like this if you're adding stuff to it. It's looked a lot worse than this in the past. It's been a learning curve to kind of understand the right thing to put in to sort of bring it back from being moist and sour smelling. But this is all compost in here. So if you put the right material in here, it degrades in a matter of days. You can actually put meat in there too, which is really good. No bones or gristle or anything like that, but clean meat. And it'll turn that into compost. So a scoop of that in one of these mesh bags, and then I drop it in this aerated water, and then if you can see the foam down in there, that's when I know it's going good. The other major thing that I do with anything that I prepare for putting on my plants is I use my nose. And this stuff, you stick your nose down in there, it smells like fresh springtime. It can go sour. If it starts to smell bad, you're probably in an anaerobic situation. Something's wrong with your aeration. Anyway, this is a whole adventure in figuring out how to do this with this wrinkle and this compost. So my regular routine was to come out in the morning and basically a scoop of this and a gallon. So then I'll fill those up, and then I'll just go out and put it wherever I need it. And this is inoculating. I'm trying to inoculate the compost that comes out of the wrinkle. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and channels about what I'm doing here, regenerative gardening, and trying to make your own inputs from the materials that you generate in your yard, and some of them you generate for the purpose of making your own materials, comfrey, borage, things like that. These are really excellent things to put in your composting to give you a specific type of action. So I wanted to try this inoculation idea got in my head, and I thought, can I inoculate this compost with my tea? Because one of the things I was learning about in some of these videos is lactobacillus or lactic acid bacteria, and so there's methods of making those. You can find tons of videos about that, and I started doing that because then you take that material and you use it to inoculate your compost. So I thought, well, what if I just inoculate it with my tea? And so this bucket right here is an evolved version of this inoculation experiment. So the first time I did it, I put it in a flat seed tray, and so the surface area was really good. Surface area to material was really good, but the basic idea is you take, and we have some footage of this we can drop in, but you take the compost and you stir in enough tea to make it like a frosting consistency. Okay. Now it's been pretty hot here lately, and I'm sort of trying to find out what the temperature limits are on this. After a week of this material sitting in here, after I stirred it up, I had all this nice white growth here. That's the lactobacillus bacteria, and again, it still smells pretty neutral. This yellow stuff I'm worried about here. So a couple of days ago, I stirred this section of it up and added some more tea to it, just to see if I could get rid of some of this yellow and if that's the bad stuff I'm smelling. I think the easier thing to do is probably to put it somewhere cooler so it doesn't heat up to, you know, nearly 100 degrees during the day. But I'm just kind of experimenting with the edges of hot temperature. What can I get away with this process? But the idea next is to take some of this material, and what I've been doing is taking a nice chunk of that, right? So it's got some, you know, some raw compost underneath there that still has tea in it, and then that's the growth on the top. So then what I'll do is I'll take that. All right, so I got a tomatillo here and I got a tomato here, and these are some of the plants I'm experimenting with. So there's some grass mulch on here, but the idea is to take this material and just kind of mash it down in there a little bit. I could get a little more extreme at this, and I'll probably play with ways to sort of distribute it better. And then I have some more sort of grass mulch, but the idea is to cover that up a bit to keep it moist, so that, and then water it in. But you want to keep that moist so that microbial growth can kind of drop down into the soil and make big happy plants. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is to inoculate my wrinkled compost with the tea from the wrinkle and then apply it to my plants in this manner when they need a boost. And if you see, this one's actually got some tomatoes on it, and I'm stoked to see how these taste. But that's the basic idea of this whole approach is what can I get away with this wrinkle and the tea and make this garden pop. So thanks for watching.